Welcome to Manitoba Music Makers. I'm your host, Frank McGwire, and with me tonight, or today, depending on when you're watching the show, is a Canadian country music artist, Jason Kirkness. Jason, welcome to Triple M.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here.
Doing it by Zoom, and well, you'll be coming to Brandon soon enough. Maybe we'll get a chance to chat with you then, Jason. But the marvels of technology have allowed us to do it this way. So, thanks again for taking the time to do the show. I always appreciate that. You grew up in a small town just south of Winnipeg, I'm told. Kleefeld, is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah, I'm from Kleefeld, Manitoba. It's a small farming community. When I left, it was about maybe 300 people, and we're outnumbered like 5 to 1 cattle to persons.
Okay,
Just outside of Steinbach, that kind of the Bible Belt region, I guess, of Manitoba.
right.
And so the sign says the land of milk and honey. So it's a lot of beef farming and a lot of dairy cattle, and that's just kind of how I grew up.
Did you do a lot, like, did you worked on a farm, obviously, growing up?
Yeah, I had the pleasure to work at Oak Lane Honey Farm in my early teen years. Getting out in the field and lifting the supers and getting them on the truck and then bringing them back. And then we'd work around the clock as long as we possibly could, sort of through August doing the extracting. So yeah, definitely grew up in that sort of environment.
So a typical day would be work sun up to sundown.
Yeah, a lot of times, certainly in later into August when you got to get that extracting done, before the frost and before the bees go to hibernate, then you definitely have to get up early.
Yipper. You don't want to be turning into Nick Cage in Wicker Man.
Oh,
Although you probably it's like a knack. You get there's a trust, right? And a bond you get with the bees, right? So
hmm.
um, when you were growing up and you weren't working and you were getting into music, how old would have you been when you started to get into music? And what kind of music did you get into first? Was it always country?
I started with music for young children. That's a
Okay.
program of like pre-K kind of thing,
Oh wow.
where you just learn rhythm and all that stuff. And
Hmm.
then my babysitter was also my piano teacher, obviously, because small town, right?
Yeah.
So she kind of always knew when I didn't do my practicing after school. Uh, yeah, so I guess it was pretty much piano lessons till I was about 12 or 13, and I got electric guitar. And
Mhm.
I had sort of had it in my mind that I wanted to be just like Jimmy Page, but I wasn't that great at guitar, and I turned out to be a big fella and 6 feet something. So I don't
Mhm.
look good. I don't look great in dragon pajamas.
So, okay, so you mentioned Jimmy Page. Of course, classic rock aficionados know that he's always ranked top 10 in the classic rock guitar pantheon, right? What about other idols? What about, other stars that you gravitated towards that you were influenced by?
My first couple of cassettes was Jerry Reed Eastbound and Down Greatest Hits and Black Crowes Southern Harmony and Musical Companion. So a little bit of Southern rock and a little bit of country.
Right?
I remember a big favorite of mine growing up was Alabama's Greatest Hits. I loved Waylon Jennings around that same time.
Hmm.
And then I was also into a lot of like the pop country and 90s rock. So like Garth Brooks was a big deal for me. And as well as obviously like Nirvana and Smashing Pumpkins and that kind of music. It kind of all overall was I've always been the kind of person that I'll prefer a great song over my favorite genre. So always even then kind of always came down to like the song.
Hmm. All about the song. A good song is a good song. It's the way it is, right? And your music is, I would keep seeing and reading about Jason Kirkness being characterized as like a storyteller. You go
Mm.
with that angle with your vocal. Would you agree with that? Is that kind of a explains your style too? Because there is a sort of a writing style that would go behind a storytelling delivery, right? Did it come naturally to you, or did you kind of say, this is the route I'm going to take?
I wasn't great at guitar, and I found out pretty early that the part of music that I really like the most is songwriting.
Hmm.
I love being on stage, big crowd, little crowd, doesn't matter. I love singing,
Okay.
and I really love when, I guess when the lyric kind of really grabs you. So I don't know if that's necessarily storytelling and like that it has to go from A to B, but something in the lyrics has to go, yes. It has to like resonate, and it has to be something that's like, could you hear a large crowd singing this along, or is it something that someone's going to put on some headphones and they're going to connect with, what the music is saying?
Gotcha. So you think that that's, I guess, the best route to take to grab the listener and pull them in and really get them to pay attention to the song.
Definitely for the listener, but also just for myself. That's the songs that I
Hmm.
generally love performing.
Okay. Let's jump ahead now to your current album. Let's talk about What Got Me Here. It's your third release, third full-length release, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a kind of a big deal because it's already spawned a top 40 single, which is Anywhere the Night Goes. And anybody that wants to get into a new country artist and Jason Kirkness, you haven't heard of him yet, you should YouTube that because it's a real cool tune. And it generated quite a buzz online and on radio for you, Jason. How long did it take you to write a song like that, Anywhere the Night Goes?
Uh, so I guess to answer your question in the longest possible way, my first three
Sure.
records, 11 songs each, so that's 33 songs I've released. Before that, I was in an indie band and we put out a full-length record and we put out an EP.
Hmm.
Um, I've also done a couple of just various singles, and then I have about maybe 10 or 15 co-writes with other artists that have been released commercially.
Hmm.
And so this was the first one, so I guess it would be like 60 plus finished songs. This was my 13th time going to radio, and I'm pretty fortunate that I get to work with, I guess because of the time I spent in Nashville, that I get to work with a bunch of great writers.
Hmm.
So between the songs that I've written, you know, I've gotten to work with William Prince a whole bunch. On my first two records, we wrote, I think, 14 songs together for the first two records.
Hmm.
Um, I guess with that, I had a lot of access to, uh, outside cuts and my songs. So there's always a lot of songs to choose from. And because of that, I can always really hone in on picking the best possible one.
Hmm.
So with this one, with Anywhere the Night Goes, I recorded that one, let's see, in 2021, around maybe February or March, maybe April, I don't know. The publishers, they gave me a year to have it out, or else they were gonna go ahead and let someone else record that one. So they said end of February. So on March 1st, I released it on the internet. Uh, I had really no plans for it, but my manager, Rick Noble, he heard it, and he took it to radio from there, and it took him about uh, 6 or 7 months to get the first ad at the first station. And then from there, it took him another almost 6 months, about 4 months before it charted. And then we had the 18 weeks on the top 40. It's kind of cool because it's one of those things that, like, it definitely feels like it's moving really fast at the time. And then you kind of get to the end of it and you don't, like, no one says at the beginning where the end is. So you don't
Hmm.
really know. And
Right.
then just one day you're just not on the charts anymore.
Well, they keep on adding new ones into the rotations.
Yeah, it's
And that's
unfortunate.
what happens. Yeah, it's like snakes and ladders. Things go up, things come down. But you know, with the Zoom interviews on Manitoba Music Makers, I have the advantage of doing a post edit. And you won't see this now while we're chatting here, Jason, but I took a still shot from that video. And I think it's
Okay.
perfect timing from Anywhere the Night Goes. You're punching your fist into the air just as the chorus comes in. And it's a very strong chorus in this song, too. So you look like you're on a rooftop there, Jason. Where was that video shot?
We snuck up on the rooftop right next door to the MTS Center.
Ha ha.
And so,
Did you get your passes to get up there, or did you just kind of do
no,
a photo bomb kind of
it
moment?
was, let's see. when did we shoot that? I shot all the stuff in the summer, and then it was probably October, and there was already kind of little snowdrifts that were up there
Oh,
last.
okay.
Uh, and we had a fella come up there, and he's, "Oh, you gotta stop shooting," and we just kept shooting, and then he's like, "No, like you have to stop shooting." We just kind of kept going. It was like, "Oh, just one more time, 3 more minutes," and he's like,
Yeah,
"No,
yeah.
no, 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 no more minutes." So we tried to be as respectful as possible, but
Of
also
course,
still
yeah.
finish the video. Yeah, they had
Well,
us. They had us probably. They had security up there, and the song's about 3 minutes long. I think we got 4 takes done on the roof, and then
oh, there you go. So take the best parts out of all that, and you should be fine.
exactly.
So it has it's been a standout track for you. There's no denying that. And receiving extensive airplay, and that of course goes part and parcel with chart positioning too, right? More ads you get, the more airplay you get. That's how the machine works in top 40 Canadian country radio. Um,
Absolutely.
it was you guys garnered a US Billboard indicator for that spot. How many markets south of the 49th did you get play on?
Uh, we had a really great radio tracker in the States.
Hmm.
And so basically, how the States work is you have to get on the indicator chart first.
Hmm.
And if you chart well enough on the indicator chart, then your tracker will recommend you for major market release. Um, I think we got 11 indicators on 1 week. So it was definitely enough as far as traction
Hmm.
goes, but then they let us know the budget, and it was a little out of reach for us average working folks.
Okay. Let's mix that video in right now. Anywhere the night goes. Set this up for us quickly.
Hey, this is Jason Kirkness, and you're watching my old video, Anywhere the Night Goes.
Hey baby, what you think about getting out of this little town, hanging out in the city lights? If that ain't what you're feeling, just tell me what you're feeling, 'cause everything with you feels right. There ain't nothing wrong with you and me just hanging on. Anywhere the night goes, anywhere the wind blows, baby, whatever gets you loving on me. Right into the sunrise, kiss you one more time, long as it's your lips, baby, I'm good with anywhere the night goes. Hey baby, how's this sound? A little blanket, a little ground, a little bit of heaven on earth. We can just lay here talking, you could hear my heart knocking, 'cause you're looking so good it hurts. There ain't nothing wrong with you and me just hanging on. Anywhere the night goes, anywhere the wind blows, baby, whatever gets you loving on me. Right into the sunrise, kiss you one more time, long as it's your lips, baby, I'm good with anywhere the night goes, anywhere the night goes. Anywhere the night goes, anywhere the wind blows, long as I got your hand in mine. Right into the sunrise, kiss you one more time. It's all gonna feel alright. Anywhere the night goes, anywhere the wind blows, baby, whatever gets you loving on me. Right into the sunrise, kiss you one more time, long as it's your lips, baby, I'm good with anywhere the night goes, anywhere the night goes, anywhere the night goes, anywhere the night goes. what you think about getting out of this little town, hanging out in the city lights.
Jason, you've built an impressive career over the years. Now you've got, numerous accolades. You've had high-profile performances, especially last year and the year before. In 23, I believe it was, you won the Male Artist of the Year at the Manitoba Country Music Association Awards, the MCMAs. Is that the biggest one yet for you? The biggest
Yeah,
one?
that was my biggest award that I've ever actually. Quite honestly, I think it's the only award I've ever won.
Okay, not a bad way to start. A good first one to get, and also, you play some festivals and some multi-band gigs where you're sharing the stage with people like Luke Bryan,
Yeah.
Keith Urban has, been on the same roster as you, Florida Georgia Line, folks like that. These are some big names. When you're in a position like that and you get to be on the side of the stage and you're looking and you're watching what they do, what do you look for and what do you try to take away from those opportunities?
Well, I'm always impressed with everybody's cardio, to be quite honest. Doing a 2 hour show, quite often I'll have to take a knee. And Keith Urban, especially, just
Yeah.
every time that guy's on stage, it's 100% energy for like the whole 2 hours, 2 hours 20, doesn't matter. He's at 100% every time. And I've always wondered, like, how do they maintain that?
Hmm.
Then you see all the videos of Taylor Swift doing her training where she's like singing while running on a treadmill,
Mm,
and then she does it for 3 straight hours.
yeah.
Yikes.
I don't know if I could pull that off either. It's that is a toughie for sure. 2024, busy year too. Like we're just nicely into 25 right now, a couple weeks in, but as of this taping. But you went on a 6-week radio tour last year through Canada. You hit lots of
Yes.
different markets in this country. Plus, you did tours of Australia, and the States. Let's talk a little bit about that experience. Let's start with your trip down under first.
Starting with Australia.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, actually, maybe it's better if we start right after New Year's. I did the
Okay.
six
Well,
weeks in Canada.
we can go
Yeah,
chronologically. Let's go chronologically.
chronological.
Yeah.
Because what ended up happening was I had this song "Right Where I Want You," and it
Okay.
was the one that I kind of felt the strongest about with all of the releases we've done for singles. So I wanted to make sure it had the best chance at possible at radio. So
There you go.
I took 6 weeks and I went to every possible station that would have me across Canada. I started on the very west coast. I went to Vancouver Island and started there, and I worked my way across province by province. And
Hmm.
I was in -38, sleeping in the van in Grand Prairie, and
Oof.
uh, it was in +12 in Vancouver, and all in the same week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got all the way out to, I didn't get to Newfoundland, but I did get all the way to Halifax. And I stopped at every radio station. And from that, I didn't get as many weeks. I think we only did about 5 or 6 weeks on the top 50, but it was still one of my favorite songs. While that was going on, we caught a bit of traction. So that would have ended in February or first week of March, kind
Hmm.
of around then. And I went to the Junos in March, and then I flew to Australia, and I did the whole thing again there for almost 2 weeks,
Wow.
where just station to station, visiting everybody I could
Just
possibly.
just a
Now,
whirlwind radio
luckily,
tour.
well, the majority of Australians kind of all live in this section, like I'd call it the bottom right, but like let's call that the southeast.
Hmm.
It's Queensland and New South Wales, so like Sydney, Brisbane area.
Yep.
And I got to do the whole loop around there, and I got to go through Tamworth, where they have the annual country festival. Now,
Ah.
maybe some country music listeners or watchers of your program will be interested. Um, country music basically has two sort of heartbeats, and one is Nashville, obviously, but the other is Tamworth. They're sister cities, and Tamworth has the longest uh, country and bluegrass festival in the planet.
Hmm.
Yeah, they've been going over 50 years for the longest continuous festival. So that's going back to the 70s. Country music has reigned supreme in the southwest central Australia,
Yeah.
and right there in Tamworth. I got back and I immediately got back in the minivan and headed to the States and then went and did all of, Illinois, Wisconsin, that whole area kind of
Yeah.
until looped back through South Dakota. Uh, I saw the president's faces on Mount Rushmore and then came home to do my summer dates. But it ended up being a little over 5 months that I spent going from radio station to radio station.
Hmm.
So, for anyone watching, obviously, if you want to get on the radio, it's not as simple as just like
Oh.
send a couple emails. You legitimately have to go there and get to know some people and, you know, make it about being friends.
So the personal approach.
Yeah, it's
I
uh
like
it's
that.
it's a lot easier to ask someone for, hey, would you like to put me on the radio? It's a huge favor, and then they'll say, sure. But it's a lot easier when you're there in person and do the handshake and they know who they're talking to and you
Yeah.
can kind of make it personal. Yeah.
So one of the high profile festivals that you played was the CNE in Toronto too. That had to be one of the highlights for 2024 for you. I mean, that's a huge event. That's about as big as they come.
I didn't know that actually second to the Calgary Stampede that the largest
Yeah.
agricultural exposition would be
Yeah.
downtown Toronto.
Yeah.
But
That's lots of
yeah, we
people
got
there.
there. I picked up the guys from the airport, and we thought we'd be about 3.5 hours early, and due to traffic, we were only 20 minutes early. We got stuck in the gridlock for quite a few hours, and then we kind of went around this back road, and I didn't sort of understand how big of a thing it was. And we kind of drove around the whole back of it, and it just seemed to go on forever. And we'd be like, "Hey, where's the country stage?" And they keep waving us, and okay, it's still going on. Okay, we park, and then there's this thing, and like the whole midway's all over here. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and like the little country stage or whatever, even that area, there was about maybe at least 1,000 people, I'd say, if I had to
Mhm.
guess. And they just said, "Well, have at her." And we had a great afternoon, and I look forward to going back to CNE for sure.
I guess so. Let's fast forward to is the new single My Vegas, is that the new one you have to radio now?
My Vegas came out a little while ago, and we just started promoting What Got Me Here 2 weeks ago.
Okay. So what got me here
Yeah,
is the new one. And the
yeah.
video is new too. And why don't we before I delve into a few more questions here with you, Jason, let's spin what got me here. We'll let our viewers check out Jason Kirkness's new video here. Set this one up for us. Where was it shot? How long did it take you to put together? And where's the idea behind this song? What's
Well,
that about?
when you're doing when you're doing a music video, you definitely want the hot car, and you want the attractive models, and you want the great locations.
Yeah, yeah.
So, we set up in a dirty old garage with my trusty 2004 Pontiac Montana. And this time we got permission, so we had a bit more time to shoot it.
Hmm.
And then the rest of it's actually a bit of B-roll that's taken from a little documentary film we put together about the record that's also called What Got Me Here. And
Interesting.
this is kind of the first little look into some of the stuff we shot there with. So it's basically just about me driving down to Nashville and then showing up on Broadway.
And with your permission, we will play it in its entirety now on Triple M.
Let's get it.
All right.
side. I drove it home with one headlight. It barely ran, but it got me here. It was hard as hell, stacking bells. I was almost broke and you could tell, but it paid and it got me here. Yeah, talk about worn out. I've torn the soles out of these boots too many times. Been on the bench, been on the field. I've won and lost, know how it feels. Yeah, that's what got me here. Every dim lit road, every door that closed just kept me moving on. Every dream being crushed, every push come to shove, that's what kept me standing strong. Never took the straightest path, didn't happen just like that. Wouldn't take it back, that's what got me here. I didn't know that summer love was exactly what it was. It didn't last, but it got me here. Fair weather friends, they come and go, but I won't forget the ones back home. They got my back and they got me here. Every dim lit road, every door that closed just kept me moving on. Every dream being crushed, every push come to shove, that's what kept me standing strong. Never took the straightest path, didn't happen just like that. Wouldn't take it back, that's what got me here. Wouldn't take it back, that's what got me here. Yeah, talk about worn out. I've had my heart worn out, torn out through the years. Been on a high, been on a low. I've seen the light, that's how I know. Wasn't easy, but it got me here. Every dim lit road, every door that closed just kept me moving on. Every dream being crushed, every push come to shove, that's what kept me standing strong. Never took the straightest path, didn't happen just like that. Wouldn't take it back, that's what got me here. Wouldn't take it back, that's what got me here. That 89 Danny in the side, I drove it home with one headlight. It barely ran, but it got me here.
There you go, the video to What Got Me Here, Jason Kirkness on Manitoba Music Makers, and I'm with the man that just created that tune for you and a whole lot more. You've been at this now for how many years, Jason? About 14 or more? Like, you've been at this since you were just a kid, but you've been recording for the last 10, 12 years or so, right?
Yeah, my first record came out, I think we started, the first EP was 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And then the first full-length record was, I think, 2012. And then the second one was 2017. And then, yeah, that feels about right.
There's some
14 years, 15,
there's
16
some gaps in there, but I would imagine that at one point in time you had a day job. And are you a full-time working musician for many years now, or how is that worked out?
Well, so Life on the Road, that came out in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because for most of my adult life, I played in like a traveling, I guess you'd call it a bar band or a B circuit band or road band or whatever you call it. We used to play a lot of back three, go up to Thompson and play for the week. And then we would do, Norway House for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we would go around and play all these places, a little bit of country music, some oldies. And I guess from that and then transitioning into being a recording artist. And then I moved down to Nashville for a couple of those years. I've always had part-time bartender occasionally, or pick up, a roofing gig or something for one or two roofs, or just, whatever you have to do to get by. But for the majority of my adult life, I have pretty much relied on music for for the majority of my income. So I feel pretty lucky that it's worked out the way it has.
Hmm. That's
And
great.
well, that and that I haven't really had to do too terribly much else.
So let's talk about upcoming shows, and also let's talk about where people can get your music too and support Jason Kirkness, or Kirky as your friends call you. There's some simpatico here, Jason, because my middle name is Kirk. Little known fact that I don't know if I've ever shared it before on the show, so it's always nice to have that synchronicity when I'm talking to my guests and having a nice conversation. So there you go. So Kirky, so tell me a little bit about more about this new album and where people can go out and get it.
The new album's called What Got Me Here, same as the new single, What Got Me Here. Um, it's on all streaming platforms. You can find me at jasonkirkness.com or at Jason Kirkness at all social medias.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, it's just, I really want to make a record that was like kind of symbolic of all of the things that I've gone through in a bunch of years and wanted to tell some stories. And I wanted to make it all, each song have its own personality.
Yep.
And I really wanted just each of the songs for me have a sort of a personal connection to the people that maybe the people I wrote it with or that I wrote it about, or just connecting all the dots was kind of what I wanted to do. And um, in the world where, it's just like single after single after single,
Mhm.
I did want to make a full length record, 11 songs, just for something that someone could listen to, put it on headphones, put it on when you're on a drive,
Mhm.
and just actually actively listen to it. So, we put in a lot of layers and a lot of overdubs just to make it interesting and to make something that was really kind of coherent as a statement, but also, just enjoyable and upbeat.
Mhm. Well, you have the right intonation in your vocal approach and your delivery, and it's got a when you hear it, you know it's coming from a genuine place. Like the guy
Thank you.
really loves what he's doing. He really has a passion for the craft, and I noticed it straight away when I did my research for this interview, and you know went down the YouTube rabbit hole, as it were, for Jason Kirkness tunes. So if you're looking for a new country artist to follow, you can't go wrong with Jason Kirkness. Upcoming shows. Let's talk quickly about that, and then we got to wrap up. You're coming to Brandon soon. This is
Yes.
taped mid-January, but take us from, say, mid-January till spring.
Uh, so my agents got me out on the road for most of March and April,
Hmm.
doing dates across Western Canada, hopefully getting also into Southern Ontario. And wouldn't you know, March 15th, I'm going to be at Houston's, and it's a show I like to call All My Favorite Songs. So it's going to be a
Nice.
bunch of my songs, uh, some of my favorite covers. I can't imagine a Friday night in Manitoba without Dust on the Bottle. So, uh, we do kind of some of those. We do some of the dance floor hits. We do some obscure ones, maybe some songs that people won't necessarily know that I have enjoyed doing covers. A couple of goofy pop songs. I don't know. It's just whatever I'm kind of listening to and enjoying at the moment.
Well, you know what? Do me a favor when you're in town March 15th, come to the studio and we'll record another episode of Triple M. And
I'm in.
maybe you can bring your acoustic. You can bring your band if you want, and we'll have a good time on the old studio floor at WCG. How does that sound?
Is there room for all of us?
Yeah, we fit you in there.
Okay.
We've had five-piece bands set up in there. So
Okay.
how many guys in your band?
There's five of us.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Or if you want to travel light, just bring your Git box and we'll sit, have a chat. You can play us a couple tunes live off the floor. Well, I'm loosey goosey, so we'll play it however, whatever way we can accommodate you, we will.
Yeah,
How does
Steve and
that
I are
sound?
good at getting up in the morning, but the rest of the fellows maybe not so much.
All right. Well, it doesn't have to be in the morning, you know. It could be sometime before your sound check at Houston's or whatever. But
Okay.
we'll hopefully make something like that work out, folks. When you hear Jason Kirkness, you're going to hear the sincerity in his voice with the delivery of his songs and a great catalog of stuff to check out on YouTube. Go support him. He's a rising star in the Canadian country scene, and we're very happy to have had him here on Manitoba Music Makers. Jason, again, thank you so much for making the time and having a chat.
Thanks, Frank.
Right on.